With me is top Irish Minister Jack Chambers, who holds number of portfolios, digitization, also infrastructure, and he's here in India. His first visit to India. And my first question to you: you're coming at a time when India is hosting the AI summit. AI looks like to be a future that's going to shape everyone's life. How do you see India hosting the AI summit? And how do you see India-Ireland cooperation conversation on this topic?
Well, look, we really welcome the fact that that India is hosting a summit. It's connecting the world more generally. That kind of multilateral approach is something we support and welcome, and it's great to see a number of ministerial delegations here. AI will shape the world and the future for decades to come, and we know the priority for India, like Ireland, is how we can best shape it for citizens across our countries, and that means in terms of healthcare, different public services, and that's something as a key objective for Ireland, but also embedding business and enterprise. And we know that the tech and digital ecosystem that exists in India and the opportunities that will emerge from AI too. So I think having that global conversation is something we really value and welcome, and we'll take shared learnings from. We want to see how we can use AI within our public services in a more effective and safe way, obviously, to reassure citizens. And I think the thematic concern here about being all-inclusive is something I think speaks to the wider emphasis which has to be the future around AI, rather than it being, it's focused on the constraints and the concerns. We need to see how it can be a force for good, and that's something we share.
Force for good, but there are question marks over AI. There are sovereign models, but it has a geopolitical elements as well. How can Europe and India come together at a time when it looks like a big debate, or the world is being divided between the Americans and the Chinese when it comes to the AI and the use of sovereign models?
Well, obviously the regulatory conversation is central. We have a lot of the tech ecosystem in Ireland, and we're engaging at a European level on how we can make sure it's a safe tool in terms of its deployment and its utilization, and it's evolving at such speed. It's challenging for the regulatory systems at certain points, but I think citizens are speaking up, speaking out, and I think the fact on the back of the free trade agreement, shared learnings which we can make from AI is something that will come of the wider economic and political cooperation that has been embedded in recent weeks and months.
Mm-hmm. You're the Minister for Digitization as well. How do you see India's policy on digital public infrastructure? You go around Delhi, you can use, without using money, you can use or transfer money using UPI. Are there any such mechanism in Ireland? Do you use digital public infrastructure to deliver services to the common man?
So the European Central Bank coordinates some of the policies in terms of the euro currency, and there's a lot of work happening around the digital euro and better developing that by the European Central Bank. But we're really ambitious around digital infrastructure. We have a strong tech ecosystem, and that's why we're new multi-billion investment, for example, in digital healthcare, and what are the opportunities from AI that will come and emerge from that, and many other areas of public services. We've new life events system that's being rolled out in terms of the digitization of public services, and we hope to have most public services digitally enabled by 2030, a transformation in terms of the citizen interface for digital public services. But we know the tech ecosystem is so strong here in India, and everyone with a mobile as well. So there's a lot we can take from that as well. And I think on the back of the free trade agreement, take shared learnings across our two economies.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned about free trade agreement. Finally, the mother of all trade deal has been announced. What's the view like from Ireland, from Dublin, in terms of this trade deal? Also, the benefits for the Irish economy when it comes to getting this large Indian economy?
The whole growth of the Irish economy over 50 years has all been about trade, pro-enterprise, openness to newer trade deals. And that's why I think there's huge opportunities in terms of deepening the links. We've strong diplomatic and political links between our two countries for decades, and also a 90% increase in trade between Ireland and India in the last 10 years, and that was in the absence of a free trade agreement. The fact that the EU expects over the next 5 to 7 years trade between the European Union and India to double shows what's possible in terms of deepening the trade links between our two countries. We know India is a really popular place for many Irish businesses now to start and commence their deepening of links and embedding themselves here. But also for many Indian companies are looking to Ireland to set up operations and use Ireland as a place to trade within the European Union. And our people-to-people links are strong. We have a shared perspective on many policies and opportunities in terms of the life science sector, pharma, and digital as well. So I expect the further deepening of economic integration to come from this trade agreement, and it's great to have those conversations this week. This confidence, momentum, and positivity in the back of the free trade agreement, and that will only lead to a more positive future in terms of our shared future as economies that want to trade together.
Are you optimistic that the deal will pass in the Parliament, the EU Parliament, and it will not face any hindrance?
I expect so. I think obviously we had a mixed view on the Mercosur trade deal, which wasn't given the same level of support, I think, in the Parliament. My sense is that the trade deal with India will get more majority support, and I think will pass, and I think that's only positive.
This year, you think all the technicalities, I know technicalities in EU Parliament can be really tough to answer, things can move very fast or very slow, but do you think this year, calendar year?
I want to see trade deals passed and progressed, but I think there has been very little negativity actually about the trade deal with India. So I don't see why or how the Parliament would seek to slow this down in many ways. Obviously the technicalities have to be agreed, and we have a complex system in Europe, in the European Union, with the Parliament, the Council, and the Commission as well. But hopefully can be progressed, and that only brings and builds confidence around it. And we've seen similar trade deals with Canada, for example, and the growth that comes from these deals is enormous. And the fact that India has such ambition and growth in terms of its innovation and tech ecosystem here, there's huge opportunities for India in the European Union as well.
Last few set of questions. How do you see the India-Ireland relationship? We saw the Indian External Affairs Minister going to Ireland last year, March of 2025, I believe. And there was an announcement on the economic initiatives. What next do you see in this relationship?
Well, I see many of my colleagues coming to India in the next 12 months. We have my colleague Minister of State, Niamh Smith, is here later in the week for the AI Summit as well, and she leads on AI in the Irish government. Our Attorney General is coming for St. Patrick's Week in next month in March. But I expect a series of ministerial visits here to India. We're serious and sincere about deepening trade, but also building better people-to-people links, and we really want to leverage that. So I think it's only positive for the future, and a lot more political engagement happening of it too.
People-to-people linkages, the diaspora connect is something that is much talked about. Yes, in the past there have been instances, but how do you see this? Perhaps a living bridge between India and Ireland growing forward?
I think it's really positive. I'd like to see direct air connectivity, and that's something we're discussing this week as well. I think there's a big opportunity to have a direct air connection between Ireland and India, and that's something I think can happen in the next 12 to 24 months. So we've had conversations about that this week. Again, that builds further opportunities. And I'm in a very diverse constituency in West Dublin, where we have a huge presence of the Indian community from right across the country here, and I value their contribution to the Irish society across sport, culture, and entrepreneurship as well. Fantastic people who have only helped grow Ireland and put it on the global map in terms of strengthening our economy, and it's always a welcoming, inclusive place for people to live and work if they want to live in the European Union.
My last question to you is, how do you see India and Europe working together at a time of great geopolitical changes, Trump, China, Indo-Pacific?
Yeah, look, we've had 12 months of uncertainty, instability, but we have a free trade agreement that was built on a really positive and shared understanding. You heard the President von der Leyen speak about the mother of all deals. That was done on the backdrop of all of this global deglobalization that's been a trend in recent months, and it shows that if you prioritize trade, openness, multilateralism, rules-based order, citizens can move together and countries can move together, and I think it brings hope for the future about hopefully bringing greater stability to the global disorder and uncertainty we've seen in recent months, and that's something I think will yield better outcomes for both our economic blocks as well.
On that note, thank you so much, sir, for speaking to WION.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.